Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of the Framemetric podcast. Today we're answering a foundational question. What is decision intelligence? Decision intelligence is the layer between data and action. It turns questions into investigations you can trust enough to act on. Let's start with the gap it exists to solve. Most organizations have more data than ever, but they still struggle to make decisions. The problem isn't access. The problem is trust. You can build dashboards. You can generate reports. You can run queries. But when it comes time to act, the same questions surface. Is this number right? What changed? Why? What am I missing? Can I trust this enough to bet on it? That gap between data and confident action is what decision intelligence solves. So what does decision intelligence actually mean? Decision intelligence is not business intelligence. It is not analytics. And it is not reporting. It is the operational layer that connects data to decisions. By making answers trustworthy, verifiable, and actionable, where traditional analytics asks, what is the number? Decision intelligence asks, what changed? Why did it change? What assumptions are baked in? What evidence supports this? What should we check next? Every question is treated as an investigation, not a lookup. And that distinction matters more than ever. AI has changed what's possible in analytics. Models can reason over data, interpret natural language, and generate insights faster than any human analyst. But speed without trust is dangerous. If a system gives you an answer in seconds, but you spend hours verifying it, you haven't saved time. You've just moved the bottleneck. And if a system sounds confident, but can't show it's working, users either overtrust it and act on the wrong information, or ignore it entirely and go back to spreadsheets. Decision intelligence solves this by making evidence, verification, and investigation native to the system. Not bolt-ons, foundations. Decision intelligence rests on 3 pillars. First, governance. Definitions are explicit, not implicit. What does active customer mean? Which filters apply? Which time period is in scope? These rules are encoded, versioned, and enforced. The system does not guess. Second, evidence. Every answer includes the data used, the assumptions made, and the checks that ran. Users can verify quickly without recarrying or debugging SQL. Trust becomes testable. Third, investigation. Questions don't end with a single number. They spawn drill downs, comparisons, and suggested next checks. The system guides users through validation, not just to a result. Without governance, you get plausible but unverified answers. Without evidence, you get distrust. Without investigation, you get dead ends. Decision intelligence requires all 3. So how does this differ from business intelligence? Business intelligence optimizes for reporting. You predefine metrics, build dashboards, and schedule refreshes. It works when you know the questions in advance and the data is stable. Decision intelligence optimizes for understanding. You start with a question, get a structured investigation, and drill down dynamically. BI is output first. Decision intelligence is decision first. Both have value, but they solve different problems. It also differs from data science. Data science builds models, predictions, and statistical analysis. Decision intelligence uses those outputs, but adds the operational layer that makes them trustworthy in production. A model can predict churn risk. Decision intelligence explains why it changed, what data it used, what assumptions were made, and what to check if it feels wrong. Data science answers what will happen. Decision intelligence answers, why should I believe this, and what should I do about it? At the heart of decision intelligence is the investigation pattern. Traditional systems return a number, maybe a chart, sometimes a drill-down link. Decision intelligence returns the finding, what changed and compared to what. The evidence, which data, which filters, which definitions. The context, what's in scope, and how this compares over time. The next checks suggested drill downs and validations. An answer without evidence is a guess. An answer with evidence is a starting point for action. This is why governance becomes the moat. Anyone can retrieve data and feed it to a model. That's table stakes. The differentiation is governance. The semantic layer that defines meaning, enforces rules, and keeps outputs comparable over time. Governance is not a feature. It is the foundation that makes decision intelligence reliable as systems evolve. Decision intelligence also changes the economics. Questions become reusable assets. Logic is preserved. Definitions stay stable. Comparisons stay valid. The system gets more efficient as usage grows, not less. And this is where it applies best. When decisions need to be defended, when data changes frequently, when questions are unpredictable, and when trust matters more than speed alone. If your analytics is mostly stable KPIs on a wall, decision intelligence may be overkill. But if your team spends time arguing about numbers or second-guessing outputs, this is how you fix it. And that's what decision intelligence enables. Domain experts get autonomy. Data teams get leverage. Trust compounds. And decisions move faster with evidence. Analytics is shifting from outputs to outcomes, from dashboards to decisions, from reporting to investigation. Decision intelligence is what that shift looks like in practice. Because speed matters, but speed with trust is what changes how organizations work. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening to the Framemetric Podcast. If you found this useful, follow the show. And feel free to share it with someone who wants to move from data to decisions without guessing.